The seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Here we go, the Double Doon Show, Friday night. Let's get a wee bit of va-va-voom and show people what a quiz is meant to be like on a Friday Celtic show night. You know, it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyable. It ain't no library on the Bhoycie bus, let me assure you of that. Tonight, I am joined by someone I've worked on a couple of other podcasts with before. He's the guy who's interviewed Hugh Keevins and had him on toast. It is the one and only Reegan Stevenson. How you doing, my boy?
Russ, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on, mate.
Oh, you are welcome, mate. I've been looking forward to this one big time. We set a date, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Sounds like we're getting married. But we set a date a few weeks ago. And I've always had my eye on you. I was like, me and Reegan, we've done this before. We know how this show goes. So I'm really looking forward to it. What week it's been. I mean, we played on Monday. No European football, no midweek Bhoycie buses. I'm at a loss. I was worried what we're going to talk about tonight. And see, once I started setting up the show, I started going, oh, there's hunters to talk about. It's fine. And it just feels a little empty without me. How are you, Reegan?
I'm doing well, mate. Aye, a busy week for Celtic, but no, we've got a big fixture tomorrow that hopefully they can get 3 points and go 6 points clear.
Well, this is it, mate. We are going to be chewing the fat over all of this as well tonight, absolutely. Because the thing is, we're at the, as Ange calls it, and I like the terminology. I know it's been used before, but we're in the business end of the season, mate. You know, and I think that is where we're at. And the important thing is getting the job done. We all know that recent history tells us these sort of title races are usually kind of fall away from the other side. Last year, there wasn't a title race. We weren't involved. I'm hoping Celtic can pull away with the games that are left to go. We're going to discuss all that. We're going to talk, obviously, every other part. I can't even remember what I've put it, but we've got a schedule anyway to talk about. And say that again.
I says we have, mate.
We have.
Yep.
And what I was also going to say before we get started, big thanks as always, fanboyfootball.com are our sponsors. And see, to be fair, there's more exciting plans coming for the bus, and they're going to be with us every step of the way, which is amazing. The guy who runs it, is an absolute gentleman. The Bhoycie bus catalogue, mate. It's going to be on there soon. It's all coming. We did a wee preview on Sunday just been of the T-shirt. I've had
I did see that. It looks good.
Aye, the amount of DMs I've had, Reegan, folk going, that T-shirt's minted. And I'm like, well, there's another 2 as well. But yes, and what we'll maybe do to try and boost the old subscriber rate, because I know a wee competition. I think at the end of the month, once the T-shirts go live, I'm getting the material sent to me this week. It sounds all pretentious as fuck, but I'm getting the material sent to me this week so I can give it the AOK that it's of Bhoycie bus quality. I'm sure it is anyway. But once that's got the AOK, I think the end of month I'll do a few photos. I've got a motorbike. I'm going to sit on a motorbike and get a cool photo done wearing the T-shirt. Aye. And I'm so planned out, mate. And then we'll do the big sort of release the beginning of April. And hopefully folk like it and they buy it and it all goes well. You may notice I'm in a jazzy shirt tonight, Reegan. I've got to dress to impress you, big man. You know what I mean? What else was I going to say? Aye, and there is a lot of people watching already. We decided to go free on Facebook tonight as well. It's always free on YouTube too. But if you are watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, help the channel grow. One of the ways we're going to help the channel grow is by doing a competition with the T-shirts. We'll give it a free T-shirt if you hit subscribe, if you're a subscriber, stuff like that. We'll do all that come the end of the month. But aye, if you can hit the like button, hit subscribe, that would be brilliant. I'd really appreciate that. Anyway, Reegan, we better talk some Celtic. That's enough self-indulgence, mate. That's me got it out my system. I'm not really like that. And I definitely don't watch other podcasts, by the way. Shut up. I'll not put you in trouble, Reegan. I'll not put you in trouble. Don't you worry. So, tomorrow, back to business. And it is business. That's the thing. Celtic business end of the season is Angie's terminology. And tomorrow is strictly business. Home game, Ross County. From the outside looking in, you'd say, it's not even a talking point. That's an easy 3 points. However, Ross County are going for a top 6 spot, which is unbelievable considering their start to the season. They are very much in form. An ex-Celtic defender in charge of them as well is a wee bit of an extra wee ingredient, shall we say, that's added to the mix. Celtic are still surely well equipped to get the job done, Reegan.
Yeah, they definitely are. But like you say, Ross County are playing very well. They got a 3-3 draw against Rangers. And when they played Celtic in the first half of the game, it was 0-0. So, I mean, I think, and also when we played Ross County in Dingwall, we scored a 98-minute winner. So I think it's going to be difficult for us to overcome that. Obviously, I expect us to win, but I don't think it'll be as easy as people will say it'll be.
No, it definitely won't. I think it's, as I say, from the outside looking in, you go, that's as straightforward a game as you would want. And what is it, 8 matches left in the league this season? You're going, that one's a tick. But the fact is, Ross County come with an array of problems that maybe earlier in the season they weren't executing or using properly. But now, what's the name of the striker they've got? You'll know better than me.
Charles Cook.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. And he's going to be a handful. I have been extremely impressed with the defensive partnership Celtic have got. I also like the fact that Juranovic at right back seems to be like almost the poster boy of the defence. Everyone loves him. But I think the rotation with him and Ralston Andrews got down to a T. I think he's rotating them perfectly to keep them both happy, motivated, and also get the right blend. Our defence is well set up to deal with Cook, though, aren't they?
I think it definitely is. And I don't get the criticism in the mainstream media or for other podcasts that say that Starfelt's had a bad season, because I think Starfelt's been okay for us. I don't know what you think, but I think sometimes it's over the top because he's got the best defence in the league. He's a Swedish international defender, and he's played very well with his partnership with the Celtic centre back pairing, as you've said there. Because I think sometimes pundits in the media try and pick holes in Celtic, but I don't think that Starfelt's been that bad that you can write newspaper articles and say things that I don't think he's been that bad, Russell.
Well, I think, Reegan, it's very interesting. We will be talking tonight about players getting written off, shall we say, in certain sections of media, fan media maybe. And we'll be talking about that later tonight. Starfelt's another one. I mean, I think he's a punch bag a wee bit for Celtic fans, if I'm honest. We're right now in the midst of a 30 or 31 game unbeaten domestic run?
It's 31 because it was 30 when we beat Livingston, so
That's right, 31.
31 then, yep.
And how many of those games has Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers been the centre-back partnership? I would hazard a guess. Most of them, well, not just most of them, but almost all of them.
And I think the bad thing for Julian coming back is that I don't think he'll get much of a say on the field
is that Starfelt on the phone? Is that Starfelt? No. There's a Starfelt waiting in the sky. That's all right, mate. Don't worry about that.
But yeah, I think it's a difficult one for Julian because people expected big from him because he signed for, was it £7 million, Russell? And obviously he's not got much of a say when Ange come in, but I don't think that is a bad thing because Starfelt, like you say, he's been very, very impressive. So
yes, and I think Phil McGinley comes in here. Phil's been on, you'll recognise the name, he's been on the Double Doon Show. He then went on to do a post-match pish because this is how it works. Get your name into me if you want to do what Reegan's done and do the Double Doon Show. Get your name in because I love speaking to just regular Celtic fans. We're not ITK on this. We don't think we're aloof. We don't think we're better than anyone. It's about the buses for all passengers. So come on board. And then once you do the Double Doon Show, you then get to go on to the next stage, which is post-match pish, which, let's be honest, especially John Duncan loves a bit of PMP. So that is what Phil McGinley's pathway has been. And then he comes up to me, Reegan, and he goes, I've got a conceptual idea for the summer and the close season. And that is going to be so exciting what we're doing. We're going to be reflecting on Euro Championships or World Cups, and then tying it all in with Celtic players that featured in them. The first one's going to be the 94 World Cup. We're going to do a feature show on that. But then, like, tying in the fact, for example, Henrik Larsson scored in the third place playoff. Yeah. So it's good. Like, there's always a Celtic connection, mate, right? So it'll be great fun doing that with Phil during the close season because we need to come up with fresh ideas when there's no football to discuss. Anyway, I'm digressing. The media, Phil McGinley says, Starfelt, they'd formed an opinion on him, right? But rather than back down and admit they were wrong, doubling down. Hey! Now, I think Phil McGinley's absolutely spot on. People in life, you find, Reegan, are so desperate to be smart, they can't accept it when they've got it completely wrong. We're going to touch on that with Giacomakis.
Might it be, Russell, that Celtic have been so good that they need to try and pick holes somewhere?
Well, I think they thought he was a chink in the armour when results weren't all that great at the start. And I think they picked on him. The fact is, he's one of the most minutes on the pitch defenders in a 31-game unbeaten run domestically. And yet, I think he's unfairly judged. You know, I know one of the regular viewers, I forgot his name, David Kelly. I think it's David Kelly. And he's really good in his opinions. I respect them. But he hates Starfelt. And I'm a wee bit like, I think my mind is, I'm trying to be open-minded on it and going, you know.
See that game at the Tony Macaroni Arena? Starfelt was clear at everything. He put his head to everything, Russell. I don't think that we win that game at Livingston. As much as Tom Rogic was great and Callum McGregor was good, see in Livingston where it's a dodgy park and it's a difficult place to play on. Mm-hmm. I think Starfelt was so good that day.
Well, the thing is with Starfelt, right? See, one of the other things I've noticed, and you're right, he likes defending, first and foremost. He's quite happy to do the non-glamorous defender. He's not trying to be, you know, like a Beckenbauer spraying balls left, right, and centre. He knows his limitations, He knows what he's good at. I think he likes the art of defending. What I've also noticed, right, and this is a compliment to him, a lot of his tackles, Reegan, become passes. He's not sliding in. He's beating the man to the ball, and instead of just like having to tackle him and then hopefully gather the loose ball, his actual first touch of the ball is a pass as well as a tackle at the same time. Watch out how often he does that. It's very impressive, and I think he's a better reader of the game than his, shall we say, unorthodox at times technique. And that's what doesn't help him.
Because we've got a trend in football, Russell, that people say you should be good at passing the ball from the back, right? But I think if you look at Starfelt's just a no-nonsense defender. He just does his job very well. He doesn't want to play the ball from the back. He just wants to make sure Celtic don't let any the opposition score. You know, I think it's a difficult one because I know people have got their opinions on him, but I think if you're in the best defence in the league, Russell, you're definitely doing something right.
Absolutely. Well, this is the thing. Even earlier on in this 31-game unbeaten run, Celtic's defence was like, aye, they're good going forward, but they're dodgy at the back. Even then, throughout the season, we'd conceded the least amount of goals. It's so funny how narratives are painted that are so clearly agenda-driven, shall we say. Well, the reason we're talking about the defence is obviously, as I say, Cook's a player in form for Ross County we need to be wary of. But going forward, Reegan, right? Now, this is one of the next points that we've got. I mean, look at the players that are all back in consideration that didn't play on Monday. In Turnbull's case, haven't played in the last 3 months. Jota, Abada, straight back in. Turnbull now, after months out, back in. Hopefully, we'll see Kyo go sooner rather than later. How is it, Reegan, right? At the start of the season, Celtic's squad seemed to be down to their bare bones. We've named it, this is a nightmare. To now, even though we only made, 4 signings in January? Only 4. The squad seems so much deeper. And the amount of changes that are required to be made by a manager during the season, whether it be for suspensions, injuries, form, Ange now knows. You look at those 3 names. Turnbull, what's he like for goals and assists? Nearly double figures for both. Kyogo, top man. Jota, nearly double figures for both. And Abada is double figures for both. They're out the team at Dundee United. And yet, you look at James Forrest, all the wealth of experience he brings. There's so many options right now, it feels. Ange has managed to manage this squad, grow the squad so well.
I mean, the big thing for me, right? Now, I don't want to touch on them, but you look at Rangers, right? If Rangers take out Alfredo Morelos out of their team, their best player in their team, they're going to lose so much. Kyogo Furuhashi, who was our best player throughout the season, we've missed him for nearly 3 months, and everything's been fine. I don't think people give Ange enough credit for that. You know, that we're bringing in Maeda from a different country, we're bringing in Giacomakis from a different country,
different continent.
You know, and I don't think he totally gets enough credit because, like I just said, if Alfredo Morelos was missing for Rangers, I don't believe they've got the same strength and depth that we've got. I mean, we've got Mikey Johnson sitting on the bench doing nothing. We've got Dembele as well. We've got so many options, and that's only a good thing for Ange because it means that the training will be intense to try and make sure you even get in the 20 match day squad.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen the introduction of Karamoko Dembele again. He's getting sort of blended into the team, Reegan, right? That's another option now in the wings where at the start of the season, Abad was probably, as a 19-year-old, I think he turned 20 in October, and he was almost getting over-milked and probably over-criticised when he had natural dips in form for a player of that age. James Forrest was still missing then. Do you know what I mean? I think now Karamoko Dembele will be hungrier to sign a new deal with Celtic than he was when Neil Lennon was in charge. There's no disrespect. I don't like the pile on Lenny all the time. I think time goes on. You know, he did a lot of good things, but I think Karamoka Dembele will be looking at someone like Postecoglou right now and thinking, do you know what? I'm going to get a fair crack of the whip here.
So do you think that's why he's been bringing them on, and potentially that the Celtic youngsters away to Liverpool? Do you think that's potentially why he's been bringing them on to say, look, you'll definitely get a chance here?
This is very interesting. Someone's put their big boy pants on. Now, this is interesting because he doesn't watch other podcasts, remember. In fact, he doesn't even know anything about quizzes. Is that him? Is that her? Who is that? Delighted to have you on watching another podcast on your Friday night though, mate. And I have heard that the quiz tonight that you did was riveting. I was too busy watching paint dry. Thanks for joining us, son. I'll make you famous for a minute. What's that all about? Having a wee dig, Reegan? Don't like that, mate. Anyway, so with regards to obviously the players I'm saying that are missing right now, Reegan, the depth and the amount of options that we've got, I think that Ange Postecoglou is actually, you've got to admit, he's kind of mastered this, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's very clever what he's managed to do.
I think what he's managed to do won't get enough credit at the end of the season, but I think what Ange Postecoglou has done in the 12 months he's been in the job, or the 7 months he's been in the job right now, is incredible, Russell. I don't think we could give it enough credit, right? People say it's a two-team league, but what he's managed to achieve with those players is incredible. You know, because I wouldn't be surprised. I know people won't want to talk about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Celtic went and won the treble. I wouldn't be.
Which is a crazy thought. I mean, I cannot deny the start of the season, the results at the beginning, 3 wins, 3 defeats from 6. What the heck? I'm sitting there thinking that is the start that he's made. I didn't feel particularly invested in the name that was appointed. I think because, if I'm honest, I was probably like the masses. I was completely set that Eddie Howe was going to get the job initially. And I think anyone after that was a come down. I know the Roy Keane stuff was good banter. I would have loved that. And I still, the devil in my shoulder still would have loved that, right? I can't deny it.
Yeah.
But realistically, I felt that the board were going for a left field option that was probably suggested to them by the City Group. And then they were probably quite cheap. And then when Andrew's probably telling them in an interview, I know a few players over in Japan that are going to cost like tiny figures in modern day football that could make you a hell of a lot of wonga. Their eyes have lit up. That didn't mean it would work. Do you know what I mean? And what's now happened is Ange's got this squad. He was given the backing in January, right? But there's 2 sides to it. If you put your cynical hat on, Reegan, right? The thing is with Postecoglou's January transfer window is the fact that 4 players were brought in, and everyone has said he's been backed by the board. He's been backed by the board. But if you look at the fees, we're not spending that much, are we? You know, it's not like even Maeda was only on loan initially. His transfer fee we don't pay till the summer. Gucci was under $1 million. O'Reilly was what, $1.5 million. So I think it's been quite clever what Celtic have done. But those 4 signings in January have undoubtedly given us a level of squad depth that I didn't see coming till next season, if you know what I mean, considering where we were. We played Midtjylland with, was it Dane Murray at the back? You know, it's frightening to think how far we've come.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the transformation, you would say, Russell, because if you look at it, I mean, people were saying about Maeda, you know, like he's not contributing as much, but I think the guy just, he works so hard, you know, he chases the ball back and he does his best, and he always seems to get a lucky goal that just bounces in, but he always tries his best.
No, well, 100%. And I think we were talking about this the other week. What Postecoglou's also managed to get from his players is he's managed to get a team now that all are willing to run through a brick wall for him. That's what I love. That's what I love.
I think, see, when you see people like Joe Hart and people like McGregor coming out in the press and speak so highly of him, you know, that can't be fake. I don't mean this in a bad way, but if you look at most players, they're media trained and they say things just to say, yeah, the manager's great. But I think all the players are enjoying what they're doing right now, Russell, and it's
Me
so
too.
good to see.
No, me too. I think it's very interesting because what's so important is I spoke about a term on that wee silly walloper who's just came up in the comments earlier. We off whatever his name is, you know what I mean? The wee dyke. And I used to say on that Celtic had became, and I think Brendan Rodgers, for all his good aspects of Celtic, the one thing that annoyed me during Rodgers' time was I think he began the culture of stepping stone FC. He would sign players on a promise they would get a bigger move. Come here and you'll get a move within a year. It'll be a quick turnaround. And what that to me isn't selling Celtic well enough. That's why you ended up with guys like Dembele in the huff. You know, I think that's why you've seen the attitude from Encham almost for day one. He wasn't enthusiastic about playing for Celtic. Now what we're doing is signing players on Ange Postecoglou, looking them in the eye and going, do you know who you're signing for here? Do you know this is the biggest club you'll ever play for in your life? And that is what we're now beginning to see on the pitch, is the efforts, the drive, the same. Everyone's playing for, as Tommy Bunn says, the cause, but it's the same cause everyone's now playing for, not to get a better move.
I mean, there was a comment that Ange said last week, Russell, that really struck me. And he said, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. You know, and and that point to me means that he's not going to hang around. If you don't want to be there, you don't want to enjoy it, then what's the point of being here? You know?
Well, exactly. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I just think that is so important for Celtic. I think it should be something that players are conscious of. You do well at Celtic, even Postecoglou, let's be honest. If we're completely honest about this, Reegan, if Postecoglou does well at Celtic, there'll be a Premier League club knocking on his door because he's got a great reputation in football now with regards to his links with the City Group. He's managed at a World Cup. He's won titles on the other side of the world. He's came here and he's doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say this for a point, Russell. I mean, this is where I don't want Celtic fans to be bad on Postecoglou when he does leave, because what he's doing at Celtic needs to be appreciated. I know that people didn't like what Brendan did, but I think what Postecoglou is doing, he's obviously going to get another opportunity, and obviously people will like he's not associated with Celtic in any way, so he's in this as a job, and if say someone like, I don't know, who someone in the Premier League, that he might say, well, I can go to a Everton or someone like that, Russell, and build them up to try and make them a top six club, you know. And that's nothing against Celtic. Obviously, Celtic are bigger than Everton, but from Postecoglou's point of view, he wants to make his way in the game, you know. And it's like if I don't know, if someone gets offered a better job, they go and do that job, you know.
But this is it. But the fact of the matter is, it should be all focus on what you can achieve at Celtic, and if that opportunity arises, it's a bonus. Not do well at Celtic to get said opportunity. That's the mindset that's changed, Reegan. That is what's changed. Postecoglou is not selling Celtic to players as stepping stone FC. Come here, do well, I'll get you a move. He's saying to players, come here, do well, and become a legend. And if you manage to get a move, well done to you. But we're not coming here to sell you.
Yeah, I mean, look at someone like Ryan Christie, who people were saying that should stay when he done well in the first few games under Postecoglou. But Postecoglou obviously seen that Ryan Christie, he played well, but obviously he wanted to move to Bournemouth. Now, you can't sit and tell me that Bournemouth are a bigger club than Celtic. I mean, Bournemouth has got a 14,000 stadium, Russell. So I think it just shows you, but obviously he's went down there to play in the English Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. Paul McFarlane, let's all laugh at Dykey. I mean, it's really sad. It's really sad that guy comes onto the show with his wee nose out of joint. He's blatantly just made the biggest own goal ever. I got sent a video clip of him. I don't watch his Placket Playing Chris show. I know you're involved in it, Reegan, so I'll not put you in a position. But I'll speak from my own mind. This wee twat literally says tonight, I don't watch other Celtic podcasts, so if anyone wants to know why we do a quiz, this is why we do it. He's then on a Celtic podcast doing a quiz 2 hours later. It's embarrassing. And it just shows him up to be the person that he is. A silly little man. And by the way, he's a hard man with a wee keyboard. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I've seen more presence about, my gran than what he's got. Absolute snake. Anyway, we will move on. Glasgow CSC, you're absolutely right. I found this in my fridge. I didn't even know I had it. But it is a dragon soup. It's lovely. It's delightful. And I am enjoying it. And it is an award-winning, caffeine-based alcoholic drink. Anyway, Reegan, I know, don't you laugh now. You better watch. Don't you worry. Right, talking of idiots. Now, again, I am reliably informed that this is a player who's been written off at certain quarters. Today, it sounds like the other pod didn't back down, they doubled down. And they're now trying to say Chaos Giacomakis would be the 4th choice striker at Celtic. It's laughable. This is utter nonsense. See when you get it wrong, like I did with Postecoglou, and I admit, hands up, completely got it wrong. I think there's a tweet that probably someone screenshotted when he got appointed that I said in capital letters, this will be a disaster. I'll own it. And I'll accept miles off. Absolutely miles off, right? I accept it. See when you write off Giacomakis, the top scorer in Holland last year, because he was injured the first half of this season, because he missed one penalty. It's a shallow attitude, and it's not opening your mind. And since the turn of the year, who's Celtic's top scorer, Reegan? Whilst we've continued to build this wonderful domestic run, Chaos Giacomakis. Talk to me about the guy, for me, is becoming a cult hero. You're silent, mate.
I mean, I think he's been absolutely brilliant, Russell. He's been he's been a totally different option to what Maeda and Kyogo is. I think he's just a totally different option, and he offers that to defenders. And I think you've seen that in the Dundee game when he scored the last 2-minute goals. Because I don't think Kyogo or Maeda scored the type of goals. See the type of goals that Giacomakis scored? They were bustling defenders, getting in the way. You know, I just think he's a totally different option, and he's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I think he'll be a big part, because if you look at it, Russell, right, he's a pretty physical striker, and I think that he could definitely be an option to play against Ross County tomorrow, with him being a 6-man defence at the back. You know, they'll try and park the bus and try and see what they can do. And I think Giacomakis could be that person to try and make Celtic score the 3 points that they need.
Absolutely. I mean, you could say that his form right now is award winning. I mean, I think he could win Player of the Month, maybe, or you know, the thing is as well. See, if you do win an award, always make sure it's emblazoned on your banner, both left and right, because your cock's that wee. Always make sure it's award-winning creation, an award-winning whatever it's called. Honestly, and the thing is, see, when it comes to winning awards, always know who your best players are. Big boy. You know what I mean? But it's brilliant to see the liveliness in the comments, and it's so funny how many folk are laughing right now. It is brilliant. And absolutely, I agree with Kaylee. Hit like, hit subscribe, and jump on board the bus, mate, anytime you like. But back to Giacomakis, Reegan, because I'm not getting too overly distracted by, I don't know, someone who's maybe had his first glass of wine in the whole of 2022 and feeling Billy Big Balls. It's laughable.
Yeah, I mean,
what about? Right, go on.
I was just saying there that Giacomakis is the guy that scored something like 29 goals for a team that was bottom of the league. So what I would say to people that are doubting the guy, you know, that this is a guy that we have got, and he's come in and he's a totally different option. You know, and see if his team VV Venlo are at the bottom of the table. That shows you that he see for Giacomakis to score 29 goals last year. That's such an achievement in itself.
Totally agree. I mean, I think the fact is, what Celtic have done is adapted to Giacomakis as opposed to, I think at first, remember his interview after the winter break, and he says, I'm now fit, I'm now healthy. Those are two things he said, and it was very, very clever when he said that, because he was basically saying, you were judging me before when really he hadn't had any pre-season, he wasn't match fit, and he was making cameo appearances. Let's be honest, he was in and out. He got injured in a warm-up. He missed that penalty, which I think people unfairly judged him on. He had the winter break and he came back fit and healthy. That's the two words he used. Now you look at his record and you're going, he'll be double figures. I think he'll probably get 15 by the end of this season, which will be a complete turnaround. But the difference is Celtic are learning how to play with Giacomakis up top, and it's a slightly different tweak style. But the chaos he brings is absolutely outstanding. Danielle F. got to bring the comment up straight away. We have lacked an instinctive big menace for years. And I mean, she's not talking about me. I genuinely think Giacomakis is the type of player we have lacked for a lot of time, Reegan.
See, for me, Russell, I don't know what the people in the comments think, but I think he's probably he's probably like Jan Vinegar Hesselink. Remember Big Jan? You know, he scored goals, but he was always a kind of physical guy. It was like Scott McDonald and Big Jan Vinegar, you know, and that was a partnership that I grew up watching, and it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, so many goals and so many moments for him.
I think so, but what I also like as well with Giacomakis, slightly different from Vinegar Hesselink, I think he's got more of a chaotic streak. I genuinely think Vinegar Hesselink, for all his physicality, and maybe my memory's been clouded slightly, I'm not entirely sure, but my memory was he was almost a bit too gentle considering his size, stature.
Go on. Giacomakis has got a bit more swagger. Is that what you mean? He got a bit more swagger to get in there? And
attitude, mate. I think he relishes. See, when he gets grabbed or he gets pulled by the jersey, I think he's like that. Game on. It's the environment he wants to be in. And see, in the SPL, or the SPFL as it's called now, I want to tell you one thing, Reegan. This league is not the best league in the world. Everyone knows it. But there is many ways to skin a cat. And I think the signing of Giacomakis, which was made in the summer, tells you Ange already was willing to adapt to the league that he was in. When we all were told by silly Australian and Japanese journalists getting airtime on every other podcast under the sun that, oh no, he'll rather draw than win 1-0. Shut up. He signed Giacomakis because he knew that's going to be the type of guy you need in certain fixtures. It might be, for example, tomorrow against the likes of Ross County. He will bring chaos to the mix. If you want to get physical and you want to get, into the naughty school where Giacomakis, he'll bite back. He gives Celtic a completely different dimension to what we have had for a long time, not just under Ange. And I have relished every moment. See, here's my wee thing, Reegan, right? I'm going to put this to you. Kyogo, or as Ange, again, by the way, in the presser today says, Kyoko, right? I don't know why he says it in this mad accent, but he go, and Kyogo is maybe coming back. I'm like, why does he say anyway?
Yeah, that's quite good. That's quite good.
So Kyogo, when he's back, I'll tell you what I want. I want him with Giacomakis up top. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I think it could be the small and big partnership up front, Russell, and that could do very well because I mean, you look at it. I mean, it's like I said there. I mean, if you look at this game tomorrow, Ross County are probably going to play 5 at the back and try and defend. So Giacomakis could be the perfect player. I think he'll probably play Maeda, but I think Giacomakis will be a very good option as well. A side note for Giacomakis, Russell, he's got his call up this week for his national team as well.
Yes, back in the Greek squad. And see, to be honest with you, I mean, you're thinking, do Greece, no disrespect to them, but I would say they're equivalent of a Scotland, if you like, if not a wee bit, maybe not as many well-known players now as what even Scotland do. And you think, if you're picking what on average, is it 4 or 5 strikers you pick in an international squad? 4 probably would be the average. He's got to be in their top 4 strikers. But your eyes don't lie. This is the top scorer in Holland last year by 7 clear goals. He's playing for the best club in the world right now, under the best manager in the world.
I mean, I'll give you an example. Also, I was at the Celtic Rangers game, right? And I thought Giacomakis was even though he didn't score, he probably should have scored 2. And he gave Connor Golson and Tavernier a real difficult night. And I think that's what Ange wanted that night. He wanted somebody to be physical because he was probably told that Old Firm games are physical. And he's got the aggression of Abada and Jota to play in the attacking areas as well. So I think Ange has adapted well, as you always say.
I think Ange adapting was a phrase I used to use on, the wee man's pod that he's trying to make a wee name for himself on this. I'll make you famous, son. And the thing is, I used to always say, Ange adapting will be key. But that's because we were listening to so much biased viewpoints from Australia and Japan, right? Telling us, honestly, actually, do you know what? Everyone thought they were telling us how great a manager Ange Postecoglou was. The proof's always in the pudding. And I actually think they were underselling Ange Postecoglou. I think they were dumbing him down a wee bit. Because they were saying things like, he would rather draw 4-4 than win 1-0. And I'm going, well, that's not going to work here. But I don't think Postecoglou absolutely remotely is of that mindset. Do you know what I mean? I think Ange is very much in the mindset of it's all about winning football matches. I believe my tactics are the best way to win football matches. That's how we're going to do it. But there's no denying he has mixed it a wee bit throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Aberdeen game when that game was the big one. If Celtic lost, then Andrew's possibly going to go.
Maybe that's the thing. I mean, what Postecoglou, if you look at the early phases of this season, we were winning 6-0 a couple of times. I think it was 108 shots in 3 home games in a row. Combined, the 3 home games, 108 shots on goal. And you're going, if we keep that up, I kept saying we'll win 10-0 one day. It's the law of averages, though. I'm not even, obviously it's good banter and it's good gossip, but genuinely, you're going, well, if you have 35 shots on goal, that's only 1 in 3 going into me, or 1 in 3.5 going in to get 10 goals. It wasn't that, but now I feel we're so much more measured. There is so much more balance to the team, and I think Ange's methods at the beginning encouraged the team to be a wee bit too gung ho, and they weren't quite grasping it. Whereas now it's all about controlling the football. If we've got the ball, they can't score. If I'm honest, even when Celtic haven't been great, and I don't think we were great on Monday, right? But it reminded me of that second season under Brendan Rodgers. When there was a lot of games we won, but you weren't it wasn't the first season under Rodgers. That was exhilarating. The second season, there was a lot of games you go, well, it's job done again. No one can touch us. But you weren't. I felt Monday was a bit reminiscent of that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bore fest. I I thought Dundee United they played with. They played not too bad, but I didn't think they offered too much. And Celtic I think Celtic were in second gear, to be honest, Russell. Obviously, they got the early goal through Callum McGregor, and then Giacomakis. He should have been given the goal, but John Beaton disallowed it. So, yeah, and then we had the second goal, which killed it, and then obviously the third goal went in. But I just wanted to talk to you about someone that I've slagged that I've slagged quite a bit. That's Taylor, because I've not been a big fan of him. But I have to say, the last few weeks, the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think he's been one of Celtic's best players.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's quite interesting with Taylor because, again, I think he falls under. I think he's already fallen under the James Forrest bracket of he's a bit of a punch bag. Easy to criticise when he doesn't do well. When he does well, kind of goes under the radar. It's a funny thing. You always have players in the squad. I can think of throughout every sort of different era of Celtic, there's always been certain players that are easy to criticise and harder to win over. I mean, the one thing I'll say about Taylor is Taylor got a new deal under Ange Postecoglou within months, right? Postecoglou did not need to do that, right? And I am quite convinced because literally there was no recruitment upstairs for Postecoglou or anyone else, even in the coaching staff, that he got the final say on whether Taylor gets offered a new deal or not. That was his say-so. And he said, yes, mate, I want him on a new deal. So that tells you the manager's got a lot of faith in him. Can I be completely honest? I thought Liam Scales was a Postecoglou signing. And I think Scales could push Taylor a wee bit more than he was if he had been an Ange signing. For me, Scales is falling out the equation. If I was looking at it in the summer, I know we're getting a wee bit ahead of ourselves here, but if we were, I would say left back would be a priority position for me to focus on.
Yeah, and obviously I don't want to get to head myself either, but if Celtic win the league, they'll be going into the Champions League as well, Russell, so it's very, very important that we strengthen the left back area.
I think so. And by the way, it's not to replace Taylor. What I'm asking is, can Taylor be pushed a wee bit further? I think Scales is capable of pushing Taylor. I'm just very much like McCarthy. I just think Ange has made his mind up that I didn't sign you. I'm not gonna, and I'm not criticising. I'm not criticising Postecoglou in this way, but it would do my nutting, in fact, as well, if folk above you were signing players when that's where your expertise lie. Do you know what I mean? And whether it's Scales, McCarthy, and regardless of all the qualities they bring, they weren't guys he identified. And I think Ange has very much got credit in the bank with the players he has identified.
That's where I don't think, Russell, that Ange will be looking to bring in a director of football in the summer either. I think he's pretty happy. He got his guy from Tottenham. He got his guy from Benfica, who was the transfer analyst who brought in. I don't think he'll be looking to bring in anybody else in.
No. I've said this before. There's another wee quick discussion point. I've said this before on the show with Jonathan. We were all clamouring, right, for Eddie Howe and his merry men to get the job, right? We wanted him to bring, 19 people with him, Reegan. And we were like, oh, yeah, you've got to get behind him. Whereas Postecoglou never made a fuss about it. Took the job on his own. And I'll tell you, I've got a wee sneaky suspicion that this has panned out exactly how he wanted it, Reegan. I don't think Ange wants too many cooks to spoil the broth. I think when he's on his own, he gets to go, no head of recruitment, ideal, because I've got 5 players that I think we need to sign, right? And then when it comes to tactics, he's got 4 guys below him that he goes, this is what we're doing, because I didn't hire any of you, so I don't need any other ideas. You're lucky to still be in a job, Strachan, etc. Do what I'm telling you. He's got the complete control, almost similar to what if not identical to what Martin O'Neill had in 2000, 2001.
And I think probably that's getting the best out of him as a person, because he probably enjoys that pressure of all of the expectation being on him.
Yeah, but I think he likes it. I genuinely think he likes it. I think Postecoglou's went, well, everything's on me, but I know better than everyone else anyway. Not in I suppose there is a bit of an arrogance, but it's because he's got complete belief in what he does. I think Postecoglou likes the fact there's no head of recruitment, likes the fact there's no big name number 2. You know what I mean? That's came in. I think he likes having the total control. And I think he's got what he's done very cleverly was get every single Celtic fan on board quick. I see once you've done that, he now can turn to the board, and any request he makes, they've got a deliberation to make. Whereas with a yes man or someone probably underqualified to be back in charge of Celtic like Lennon was, that's the thing. I feel Postecoglou doesn't need any other voices in his ear. He knows exactly what he needs to do, where he wants to go.
Because I think he'd probably be annoyed if someone was telling him what to do. He'd be like, look, mate, I'm perfectly happy with what I'm doing here.
Yep.
And
totally agree with you.
Sometimes if you've got too many voices talking in a situation, that can be a bad thing as well, Russell.
I think so, Reegan. I think so, mate. The other thing I would say that Postecoglou's brought, and it's very clever, is he's also appealed to the emotional side of Celtic supporters. It's not just what's happening on the pitch. He's made real connections emotionally with the club, whether it be attending the Tommy Burns story, things like that at Celtic Park. What have you made of the connection he's made emotionally with the fans, Reegan?
Yeah, I mean, something that I found was he said to the BBC radio reporter, he said when they left for the Glasgow derby, he said, I just hope that every fan that's going through a bad time right now is having a good time after that game. And I just thought that is such a good thing to say, because, like I say, the football is an escape for everybody. It's an escape for me. It's an escape for you, probably, Russell, from all the stuff that's going on in your life. And
I remember he said that.
Yeah, and it's like I think he just totally understands what people are going through. Do you know what I mean? I think it's probably his background from being in Greece and then going to Australia and then obviously doing what he's doing now. He appreciates it. I don't know if you've seen a piece that he done with, I think it was BT Sport, where he said, if players don't like to be training, then don't be here. He says, I want you to come in here every day. And that's what I said to you about the bus stop, because he says there could be someone sitting at a bus stop doing a job they hate. And he said, those people are getting paid not very much for doing a job they hate, and you're getting paid for doing a job you love. Yep. So I think that's something we should talk about as well, because I think it just shows that as much as his football ideas are good, I think people can see that he's a genuine good guy as well.
Mate, I'm now talking like a mate. He said the other day with Cy Ferry, who, by the way, folks think Simon Ferry is an idiot, particularly the little fellow who's been in the comments tonight. He thinks that's like gutter patter. Simon Ferry's forgotten more about football than anyone I know in any Celtic Fan Media podcast, let alone knows, right? Ferry plays the idiot. Simon Ferry knows what he's talking about, right? And again, he was given 15 minutes to speak to Ange Postecoglou the other week. Guess how long he got out of him? 35. Because Postecoglou warmed to the charm. And Postecoglou at one point says, what he says is, I remind the players, look at the environment you're walking in, or you're driving into when you come to work. Look where you're playing, look where you're getting to train every day. Don't come in whining, because there's always a solution. There's always a solution. So don't bring whining and negative energy. And I totally agree. I think, it's funny because I don't know if it's a parody account. It must be a parody account, this BJD stuff, because he's still sitting there talking about his panel. Nobody gives a fuck, mate. Honestly, you're an embarrassment. But what I will say, I have sat and had personal conversations, with that twat, and he thinks Cy Ferry is gutter. He thinks he's shite and he's better than him. Simon Ferry takes him to school and laughs at him and has him on toast. Simon Ferry is a fantastic interviewer because he's real. And that is something that is lacking at times in life. Did you know that, Reegan?
I do, Russell. And you can see that also when it's genuine. See when you watch the interview, I'm just laughing during the interview. Like, the guy's obviously enjoying what he's talking about. And like you say, see if you're interviewing somebody, the best thing you can do is make them feel like they want to be there. And obviously, Ange sees that Cy Ferry is interested in what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's talking to him, and he's not just being there because he's told to be there. You know, he's making interactions with him, and he's making him feel wanted as well. And I think that's important when you're doing a podcast as well, to make you feel wanted, you know.
I think Ange Postecoglou is a master of, he gets that there's a wave of support on that pod. Do you know what I mean? They've just sold out the Hydro twice, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? He knows, even though they might be two cheeky little chappies, I'm going to show I can engage with that as well. And like I say, they were allocated 15 minutes. They got 35 out of him. And I loved the point that Postecoglou made when he says, you know, it's basically this playing here, even if you're not in the team, it is a joy. You're the lucky one. And like we were going back to the conversation earlier, I feel Brendan Rodgers was almost saying, you will be lucky once you come here because we'll get you a move. That's totally changed, Reegan.
And you look at Ange when he does his podcast in Australia, when he Zoom calls them over there, he just looks as if he's having a laugh, and he wants to be there. And I think that's what makes him so appealing to the media, is that, see, when he gets over there, he's like, it's as if like they want to interact with him because I think he's one of these guys that if Postecoglou talks and everybody listens to what he wants to say. So I think that's important.
100%. He's got that mad presence about him, eh? Now, the one last thing we'll go on to before we've got the quiz
Here
on a
we go.
Friday, not Friday Night Live. We are going to talk about, I think, a subject that's very close to Postecoglou's sort of whole remit as a manager. I think he is about improving players. I think we've seen even guys he brought in the summer that have drastically improved under his, you know, his sort of coaching skills and mentorship, if that's a word. But he was talking today about how it's so important for the B team, the youths, to know there is a clear pathway to the first team squad. And that's why he's been introducing different players as of late to the first team, even just to train for a week, 2 weeks, even if they are going back to play for the B team. He's trying to get them into that environment where they feel elite. And he's trying, and that's reward for your hard work when you're at the level below. I wonder if he was saying it, Reegan, as if he didn't feel that's something we've maybe made the most out of in recent times. Have Celtic used the youth sides, the B sides, you know, whatever it may be, reserves? Have they integrated enough players from within in recent times?
No, because you look at players like, is it Vata, the young boy that plays for the B team? You go as far back as Uncle Flex and Dembele, and I mean, there's a whole host of players that have left. You've got is it McEnroy that now plays with Dunfermline? We never really got to see him either. Sean Maloney just signed a player from an academy as well. So I think from Celtic's point of view, I know that they'll say, "Oh, we've brought in Callum McGregor and Tierney and Mikey Johnson," but when you look at it overall, I think I agree with you in that I don't think that Celtic do, Russell, because thinking the amount of players that Celtic must let go on on a 12-month basis. You know, I mean, it must be so many. I mean, if you're looking at the 4 or 5 players that we've produced over a 15-year period, you could probably say James Forrest, McGregor, Tierney, um, Tony Ralston, and then you're kind of struggling. So what I would say is, even though we've produced 5 quality players, I still don't think it's enough.
Yep.
No, I'm
Yep.
not. I'm not comparing this to Ajax and saying we should be on that level of every single player needs to be in the youth. But what I'm saying is that obviously there's some good players that are going to be let go, and if we don't give them the chance, then they're going to go. I mean, look at someone like Dembele. Now, as much as we've got Jota on the wing, we've got Abada as well. We need to give Dembele a chance because it's for. I mean, if you're in a job and you're doing the same job as somebody else, but you're not getting a chance, you're eventually going to get fed up. So, I think if you at some point you need to throw him in, and I know Ange threw him on when we were beating St Mirren by 2-0, but I think he needs to throw him in and show him over these next 8 to 10 games in the Scottish Cup and the Premiership that he's got a future at Celtic.
This is the key. You mentioned the name Tony Ralston. I think that'll be one of the examples of Angie's whole point on this. He'll sit there and go, that guy was out of contract in the summer. We gave him a 1-year deal, remember, was it not? Am I right in thinking it was a 1-year deal they initially gave him in the summer? He's now signed a longer term one.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So Postecoglou sit there going, how many of these rough diamonds are there that you've turned your nose up at or not actually even taken a look at? Stephen Creamer comes in. Rodgers and Lenny did nothing to bring any youngsters through. Ronnie was probably the last one bringing Tierney, Giacomakis. Now, I think it's a very interesting point. Ronnie Deila, I think, was almost... It was like we'd seen every tournament as a complete free hit. Now, that to me is really small-minded. That's all based on the fact Rangers were in the lower leagues. So we've went, every tournament we should win. Disrespectful for a start to every other club.
Yeah.
Completely disrespectful to our history because we'd only won what? By the time Ronnie Deila was in charge, how many trebles had we won in our history? 3? Do you know what I mean? Sounds stupid like that. Not a lot. And what actually happens is that became a focus, like he was failing. He was completely failing. But what he was doing, whilst winning league titles, okay, we went out on a penalty shootout, for God's sake. You know, that killed him. But I mean, if you actually look at his legacy, Calmac is the biggest one by a mile. Because in 5 years, 6 years' time, Calmac will have made his 900th appearance for Celtic. Sort of sound crazy like that, make it up. But you know what I mean? It will be outrageous. It'll be Paul McStay, better numbers than that. And you'll be sitting there going, how did he get his first game? He didn't make his debut for Celtic till he was 21.
Yeah,
till he was 21. That is all on Ronnie Deila.
I mean, it's incredible what Ronnie did. I don't think he gets enough credit for it because obviously the stadium was half empty. Rangers won in the league and stuff like that. But obviously, Ronnie Deila obviously done some really good things, and obviously Celtic fans will be grateful because McGregor is the captain now, and Tierney went to Arsenal for 25 million quid as well.
There's not yet the money that's been generated. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Reegan. Now, what I would also say is, Ange Postecoglou to me is like a kind of a balance between. He's a mix, right? Because Ronnie Deila was definitely all about developing, coaching youngsters, and integrating them, and doing everything on a shoestring budget, which didn't need to be a shoestring, is because he wasn't given the tools. So he failed to reach the Champions League twice. He was punished for it. He was given free transfers like Carlton Cole, Colin Kazim Richards, pish like that aren't his type of players at all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, you have to think of the players they brought in, such as Stefan Johansson, who was a great player for us as well, Russell.
Stefan Johansson, there's another example, and do you know what? The Johansson one's interesting because it's very much a signing that was made in the mould of a manager having previous knowledge. Now, there's examples of this throughout football, throughout Celtic's history even. Neil Lennon signing for Celtic under Martin O'Neill. They'd worked together before. You then get Paul Telfer signing for Celtic. I know Paul Telfer, but honest truth, that was one of Strachan's first signings as Celtic boss, because he knew what he was going to get from him. Even at 35, he went, no, I can rely on him. Steve Guppy joined under Martin O'Neill. I'm like, what the fuck are we signing him for? It all worked. Now Postecoglou is getting guys, I think, and from the J League, like such as, you know, the Kyogo Maeda stuff, that players that he knows what he's going to get from them. They're very much in his mould. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you spoke about the Strachan there. Someone that was good in the Strachan era, probably didn't get enough credit, was Barry Robson. I thought Barry Robson was a good player for us. I think I always remember him scoring that goal when he scored against Rangers in the last minute, the penalty. Remember that, Russell?
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
The penalty.
That is true. That is true. The comments are so busy now. I mean, I think too much airtime's been given to a certain someone. I mean, I think it might be a parody account that they're trying to ban me up. If it is the real wee fella, then listen, mate. My phone's on, son. You can phone me anytime, pal. If you want to make yourself relevant or you're turning heel or something like that by acting a badass and comments on a Celtic podcast you proclaim you don't watch, then, to be honest, I actually think it's kind of funny. And welcome aboard. Mind and hit subscribe on the way out, son. That's that slap your arse. Now, Reegan, it's time for the quiz, my boy. Are you ready? Are you ready, mate? To not back down, but to double down.
Friday night quiz, mate. Looking forward to the proper quiz.
You're getting sacked in the morning. Sacked in the morning. No, I know you're only kidding, mate. Don't worry. Don't worry, mate. Better bring up our stop clock, sponsored by Windows, as always, which is brilliant. Oh, the thing is, mate, there's no pretentiousness on the bus. I don't know any better than anyone. I don't have an army of clever people working under me, you know. I don't win awards. I'm just here to run a Double Doon quiz, mate, with viewers from the public that I love having on board the bus. And you are definitely, Reegan, the guest I've looked forward to the most having on. Did you know that? No, I mean that sincerely, pal.
Cheers, mate. I appreciate that. It's been great to be on, mate.
You enjoyed it?
It's been brilliant, mate. Aye.
See? And I can't emphasize enough. I know that viewers are a wee bit like reluctant to put their name in the hat or whatever because they, I don't know. Every single person so far that I've had on as a guest has just been an average Joe, no airs, no graces, that have came on, and not one of them after it has not told me after the show, that was amazing. That's the honest truth. That is the honest truth. Everyone enjoys it, so don't be shy. If you want to come on the Bhoycie bus on a Friday or a Saturday night, you get the choice for the Double Doon Show, the real quiz on a Friday night, not the Goldfish Bowl or the paint drying quiz. What we'll do, all you have to do is message me on Twitter or send me an email, ourboys@mail.com. And I've got to tell you a wee quick story before we start the quiz. I got an email. I'm going to bring it up. Honestly, it blew my mind, from Australia, right? And I'm not that up my own arse. I'm going to share it on Twitter to get loads of likes, you know. But this was an award-winning email that I got, right? I tell you this, and it was from a Jay Wright. And thank you. Jay says he basically starts his work in the morning in Australia as we're going live at night time. And he says, "Hey Russell, I just wanted you to know that I absolutely love your bus, stroke shows, stroke channel. There's a great, big, happy, positive vibe about you, and your warmth shines through like a hot summer's day here in Australia. It brings a smile to my normal face. When you go live, I'm at work, so listen on my headphones so I can't comment during the shows. The intro tune has the upbeat Bhoycie feeling, and the clip of the crowd behind Craig Gordon falling to his knees, for me, is what it's like to be a Celtic supporter, and my memories of the centenary season, semi and cup final games as a 16-year-old Aussie-born Scot on holiday. Hopefully, you can keep the bus running over the off-season. I look forward to more pure quality from the Bhoycie bus. Hail, hail, and God bless from your pal, Jay Wright, in Australia. How cool is that?
There you go. The bus is going international, mate. It's going everywhere.
I mean,
The only thing is, mate, the petrol prices to Australia will be crazy for the bus.
aye, fuck the energy bills, mate. I'd rather walk. We'll be fine. Don't you worry about that.
So with that, mate.
And there's Terry Robb giving you all the compliments in the world, mate. And Helen is wishing you well. Smash it, Reegan. Oh, John Boy says you're going to fly during this quiz, Reegan. Are you ready?
I think he's put too much pressure on me already.
No, mate. I think you will do well. Ian McIntosh, Bhoycie is a born entertainer. You know it, my man. And see, thing is, having charisma, it's not for everyone. Replicating sports scene though on a Friday night. We'll leave that to the smart arse in the comments tonight. Yes. Don't worry, Reegan. If he's actually, you can come on here every week. Don't you worry. Right. It's time to do the Double Doon quiz, mate. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, but I'm good to go, Russell.
Right, we're going to need to share the screen now. And as I say, the stopwatch, as much as we love being sponsored by fanboyfootball.com, Windows sponsor our stop clock because I've got no idea with tech. So therefore, I don't know how to put a stopwatch within the whole StreamYard production. I'm clueless. And I don't have any wee minions to pay around me to sort it all out for me because I'm a real person. Now, quick reminder of the rules. You can double doon. Remember, Reegan, you need to double doon before the question is read. If you back doon, it's basically a quick way of getting that question out the road. Or flip it and you get an alternative question for the one if you're not sure. Okay. Use them. Okay. Now, if you get the quiz completed in under a minute, 50 points. If it's 1 to 2 minutes, 40 points. 2 to 3 minutes, 20 points. Anything longer than that, you get fuck all. You know it. Yeah. Now, are you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm good to go, mate.
Let's have it. Oh shit. 2 seconds. I'm nearly starting up a championship manager save there. That's a different show. Right. The stopwatch is ready. Reegan, let's double doon. Question number 1. Which Celtic player was called up for the Sweden squad this week?
It's Staffield.
Question number 2. Yesterday was 21 years since Celtic beat Hibs 3-0 in the League Cup final. Who scored a hat-trick?
Larson.
Yeah, correct. Question number 3. What club did Celtic sign Joe Hart from?
Tottenham.
Question number 4. Celtic's most emphatic away win in the Champions League came against Anderlecht in 2017. Name one of the scorers in the 3-0 win.
Lee Griffiths.
Question number 5. What shirt number did Patrick Kamala wear for Celtic?
Number 11.
Question number 6. Say it!
Double Doon.
Yes! Name the Mexican international midfielder Neil Lennon signed for Celtic in 2010.
Suarez!
Oh, he's done it!
Oh, yes! Yes! Yes!
Mate, that is a joke. You are the man, mate. You just smashed it. I think that is the equal record score we have ever had. Oh, you are the man, Reegan. I knew you'd do well, mate. Right, let's get this. We're going to go through it, mate. We're going to go. Yes, mate. I am so happy. Question number 1. What Celtic player was called up for Sweden? Carl Staffield. You know it, mate. You know it. 2 seconds. I need my wee pen. So that's 5 points. Right. Question number 2. Who scored the hat-trick? The King of Kings. And what did you say? You said it. That's us up to 15. What club did Celtic sign Joe Hart? I was expecting a Man City to get thrown in there. That was to be a curveball. Guess what? Reegan got it. He's up to 35 points. Tottenham Hotspur. Question number 4. Celtic's most emphatic away win in the Champions League came against Anderlecht in 2017. Name one of the scorers. You thought the same scorer I did. He got the 3rd goal, didn't he? Who was it?
Lee Griffiths.
He's up to 65.
Did Tierney not score that night?
No. Don't blow it. Don't.
It was Paddy Roberts.
Paddy Roberts and Scott Sinclair.
Scott Sinclair. Oh, I thought you'd say it.
You did well, mate. That's you up to 65 points. Question 5. What shot number did Patrick Klimala wear? I genuinely would never have got this. Never in a million years would have got this. You're straight in there. 11. I could see you already teeing up the answer before I'd finished the question.
I tell you why I know, right? Because he played a game against Rangers. It was absolutely shit. When they beat us, it was 2-0 in the during the lockdown. And I always remember he was playing up front and I went, oh no, here we go.
I know. Well, fair enough. And then this one, the Mexican international midfielder Neil Lennon signed in 2010. Reegan, for the benefit of the audience, how old were you in 2010?
Well, I'm 23 now, mate, so
you were 11?
11, aye.
And you remember Efrain Juarez?
Aye.
And you doubled down on it. You doubled down!
I think it's the grey and green strip. Do you know what I'm talking about? The kind of...
Oh, yeah, with the green sleeves.
Aye, that was strip. That's how I remember him.
Wow. Mate, do you know what you scored tonight?
What did I score?
205!
Yes! Here we go, mate.
Mate, I'm honestly buzzing. I knew I was looking forward to having you on. I am absolutely delighted now. There's comments. Can I just tell you something, Reegan? I've done this quiz now 10 weeks in a row, 11 weeks in a row. We get comments obviously flying in with the answers. See, during that quiz, 68 different comments have came in on YouTube. Or maybe Facebook as well. And honestly, I'm going to need to bring some of them up. Kevin says, Double Doon. Watch this. Wait till you see it. Get in, Reegan, says Kevin. Kevin White, yes. Teresa, yes. Bob McBob, a Rangers fan. Nice one. Everyone's on your side. Monty, go Reegan. Michael, yes. What a lad. It is Brown Warrior, you smashed it. Look at the claps. Look at this, mate. Robert Davey. Never seen Robert Davey comment before. Maybe I have, but rarely does he comment. And he says, effing brilliance, mate. Cheers, Scott mate. Cameron, he's on next week. I'm really looking forward to meeting Scott. And he says it's a hard act to follow now for me. Absolutely. No, as Helen says, just no bother, Reegan. Joe P calls you a genius. Mate, you deserve all the praise in the world. That was expertise, mate. You did that, honestly, so well. And those questions, as I always say, I always think to myself, have I made these harder this week or made them more difficult? I think there's a consistency with the difficulty of the questions. I really do.
I did work pretty hard, but I feel as if
mate, I was buzzing there. See, every right answer you got, I was genuinely buzzing. I was like, here he goes, here he goes. James McGinley says it's award-winning performance. Paul McFarlane calls you a class act. Danny O'Malley wants us to stay on another hour.
There you go.
Chris Kerr, who was on a couple of weeks ago, brilliant lad. He says, brilliant, Reegan. The Red Barn, another Rangers fan says, well in Reegan. So there you go. Bhoycie Bus is open to all. Reegan, have you enjoyed your time on the Double Doon Show?
Mate, it's been absolutely brilliant. I need to say the quiz was brilliant. Really good.
You enjoy it? It's good, eh? And it's a good laugh, mate. It's a good laugh. I mean, I know someone, a parody account or whether a real one, is trying to take away from what the Bhoycie Bus does in the comments. I remember my first pint as well. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously, got the big Billy, what is it? He's a big Billy boots on, something like that. He's acting like a big man. He's an embarrassment. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan. And he would, honestly, never laced my boots in his life. The least said about him, the better. Because tonight is about one person only. He is sitting with the biggest smile in the world in Glasgow, and it is Reegan Stevenson.
Mate, I'm not bothered because I've had a great night at the quiz, so don't let that bother you, you know?
No. I would never do that, mate. There's always a good atmosphere in the bus, as James Maguire says. Absolutely always is. Billy Big Balls, that's what I was trying to say, Kelly. But I mean, I remember my first pint as well, do you know what I mean? And if that's what happens, that's what happens. That young man just destroyed the bus. You've ruined the bus. See that, Reegan? Because you destroyed it in that quiz.
Sorry,
I
mate.
tell you, no one has owned it the way you did. I know the 100% Club was begun by Phil McGinley, who we were talking about earlier. But I don't know. Not in a bad way, Phil, but you answered it even more. If there was an extra, if like goal difference was a thing, I think you would be winning on goal difference because the confidence you answered every one. Boom, boom, boom. It was like a 9 data in 6 questions. Boom, boom. Just see you later, mate. I loved it. What a performance. And do you know what? Tonight has been great fun. I've really enjoyed it. We've went way over the normal hour. But that's what happens when you're having fun, Reegan, isn't it?
Same here, mate. I'll definitely come back on for post-match push one time.
Post-match push. You know it, mate. You know it. Listen, I cannot wait to do the post-match push for you between now and the end of the season. That will be arranged. Don't you worry, okay?
Sounds good, mate.
No worries. Listen, all that's left to do is play some music. And as always, the introduction of this second video, when Chris Sutton speaks, you visualize the person in the comments trying to divert the bus tonight. Always think it's always aimed by Bhoycie, and I don't miss. Good night.
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's a media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.